Quite the beginning of class just yet. Today's an even day, right? 28, even. So you get to cross your favorite cross leg in front. Yeah. You know what's nice is like I just did both of them because I was like, oh, wait a minute. I can't remember which one is my favorite. That's a good thing. Okay, so in this little description of, and I don't know, help, instructions that I'm going to give you in Swastikasana, there is no need for you to look at the screen. Okay, it's not that you have to close your eyes right away. Don't do that just yet. But you don't have to look at the screen. Sit straight. I'm going to lean forward and roll that buttock flesh both back and out. So see how much I'm I'm pitching myself way forward. I've got both hands spread, fingers wide. It's like the innermost groin, this part right there. I'm spreading this out to the sides, making my base wider. All right, official beginning to the class. Sit straight, all of you. Roll your shoulders back. The armpit corners. You know, again, I said you don't have to look at the screen, but just for a moment, you can look at the screen. These are your front armpit corners. You have back armpit corners and you have front armpit corners. Those front armpit corners coil. So I have done this in-person classes that I'm really dating myself when I say, do you remember the funky chicken? So yeah, sort of like winging out here. So I've got my thumbs here and I'm rolling those armpit corners up and back. Sit straight. Imagine you are sitting straight from the pelvic area, from the pelvic rim, ascend upwards. The back ribs moving into the body, the front ribs ascending upwards. It's like you're picking your abdomen right off the pelvis. Close your eyes completely. Move the bottom of the sternum towards the top of the sternum. Because now your eyes are closed. You can't see that, but can you feel it? Be sensitive to that area. Bottom sternum to top sternum. Bottom ribs to the top ribs. Feel that upward lift of the entire trunk. Do not have any hardness in the upper back near your neck. Descend that all down. Fold your palms in front of your chest and maintain this position. Those external adjustments of the body that you've made. And with your eyes closed, can you watch that inner contents of the body, of you? Watch, observe. Be that observer. In the Sanskrit text, they use a word called shana. It means a moment in time. So in yoga, we are challenged with linking those a moment in time with another moment of time and another moment of time to bring the vrittis to a calm state. The inner frame of your front ribs, let them come up. Watch each inhalation. In fact, your inhalation should make the inner frame of your front ribs come up. And then with each exhalation, let the facial muscles release, the eyes move back. Relax your eyes, your eyebrows. Observe within. Be sensitive to the feelings inside of you. Okay, now this is a hint because we're going to do some Brahmari later, the bumblebee breathing breath. So as you chant the Oms, I really want you to focus on your voice box, right? The Ujjayi breath is done more throaty, right? So the bumblebee breath and the Oms, the chanting of the Oms, is done more from your voice box. Take a smooth inhalation, a preparatory exhalation, and then we'll do those 3 Oms together. Feel your voice box. Om. 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 As you finish, feel those vibrations at the voice box. Maybe you even feel them, deep inside that top chest area. That's a good thing. And then as you bow your head down, have just a moment of reverence there for your practice. You're honoring this time and space for your practice. Release your hands and then slowly lift your head and open your eyes. Okay, so I don't have to be, no, let's see. I don't think I have 2 pages. I think I just have 1 page there. Let me just check. Yep, just 1 page. So I probably don't, well, I'll just show both ways, but I had you get your chair out because I wasn't sure who was going to be here. But let's just start in Uttanasana with the hands on the front of the chair seat. So I stand, maybe not quite 2 feet away from the chair. It depends on your proportions, right? Oh, if you have tight hamstrings, please separate the feet, not quite to hip width. That would definitely be you, Mike. Not quite to hip width, but a little bit inside the hips. Otherwise, the feet are together in Tadasana. In fact, do a good Tadasana. Roll those front thighs in. Pull the tailbone toward the pubis, right? So this is me not doing the tailbone to the pubis. This is me pulling that tailbone toward the pubic plate. And then I stretch the arms down, roll the shoulders back, and have a nice tall Tadasana. Firm the kneecaps, pull up the thighs. You're standing up as straight as you can. Head back a little, Mike. Head back. Okay. And now as you bend forward, you're going to place the hands with the fingers forward flat on the chair. So you can see this nice L shape that I've made of myself. Now, the lumbars, don't let the lumbars move towards the ribs, right? The lumbars stay back, so they're long, and still your tailbone pulls in toward the pubic plate. And you feel that. Press the hands and lengthen the front of the trunk forward. Stamp the heels, that whole horseshoe shape of your heels, stamp that down. And lengthen. So I'm kind of scrubbing, I'm not moving literally the skin on the palms, but I feel as though I might take the chair slightly with me. Cinch those outer hips in. Remember, tailbone to pubis. Lengthen the trunk forward. Okay, so that's fairly easy for everyone. So now you have your 2 bricks. Have them on their tall side, skinny way. plant both palms. If you need a break, you can stand up and feel that. I'm gonna actually, I'm just gonna go move that out of the way. So you're about 1.5 feet away from your bricks. Be in Tadasana. Roll the shoulders back, feel the broadness across your collarbones. Have the trapezium going down. Okay, now bend forward and place the hands on the bricks just as you did on your chair. So the fingers are pointing forward. You may have to adjust them once you come down. Okay, so feel that whole circumference of the heels. Extend the ball of the foot, the toes forward, and feel that circumference of your heels. Tailbone to pubis, lengthen the trunk forward. Sternum towards the pit of the throat. Chin forward, shoulders back. Legs strong, strong, strong. Kneecaps lifted. Don't grip the front of the block. Just let the fingers splay out forward, like you're still wanting to. And Chaya, the bricks are a little bit far in front of you. Have them directly under your shoulders. You're like this a little bit, so directly under your shoulders. Okay, now turn your bricks out this wide block way. Turn your palms out to match that. So you can see, can you see? I'm the palm of the hand is flat on the brick as much as possible. And I'm splaying those fingers out. I'm pulling the tailbone towards the pubic plate and lengthening the front body forward. Legs strong, circumference of the heel down. Okay, so, nobody, but it's a little bit Doug, but everybody else, you're okay. Doug, do you have two more bricks? That's all you got. Okay. So can you see that your thoracic is rounded? Can you feel? Do you have that sensitivity to know that when you're doing this, you're a little rounded like this? I'm probably exaggerating. So it's that. Okay. So the shoulders roll out, the collarbones go back, and the collarbones widen. Yeah, press the hands and broaden across the collarbones, pull your shoulders back and lengthen your trunk forward. Do what you can to straighten your knees. Okay, last one is to turn the palms backwards. So you go back to your, turn the blocks, not sideways. Turn your palms so the fingers point back. Don't let the fingers curl. Lengthen them backwards towards your shin bones. And tailbone to pubic plate, lengthen the trunk forward. Move in at the thoracic spine. Can you feel that? Yeah, don't let the shoulders come towards your jaw. Press the hands and lengthen the trunk. Yeah, so it's just Uttanasana done a few different ways. Okay, now come up and so it's only Sopo who has the rope wall. Well, yeah, I think that's about it. So Sopo, you can put your, yeah, you've got the bottommost wall plate. So you put your two, these two guys would go on the bottom, like that. The rest of us, as I'm pretending I don't have a rope wall here. Let me see. Hopefully you can see this close enough. I think this is pretty cool. So what could work could be a, oh shoot. What could work could be a heavy piece of furniture for this. But I don't have a heavy piece of furniture that's going to stabilize me besides my rope wall, which I'm not going to use because most of you don't have. This is going to be my heavy piece of furniture, my door. So I'm about a foot away from the wall, 12, 14 inches. I bend my knees. I reach my hands through and I'm going to hold the bottom of the door. Can you see how I've done that? Okay. Now what I want you to see is that when I straighten the legs, the buttock flesh rolls over and I lengthen my entire spine, sides of the abdomen down. Okay, it's not about the hamstrings. I don't care if you can't straighten your legs all the way, don't, but I want, and I'll show you now, Sopo, from here. Ropes are on the inside. I'm about a foot away from the wall. Bend the knees, reach all the way to your ropes. Make sure you're not pulling the ball up or else you'll come out. And then I let the buttocks roll over. Can you see?
Yeah, I can see it.
It's a wonderful Uttanasana. So the rest of you are just doing what you can. Have you got something you can hold on to? Nobody has a door. Yeah, heavy piece of furniture, Marissa, that's fine. And do you have something there that you can hold on to, Mike? Yeah, lift the hamstring up towards the buttock flesh, but then that lower back is coming up and over, and all this is just cascading downward. Don't hold your head or neck up. And again, I'm not too particular about the knees straightening. Can you get the butt? So Doug, reach. So here you are. Let me just see. Here you are. Can you, so you're here. Can you reach back here and get your hands on your buttock flesh, below the buttock flesh, and pull it up. Pull it up. I don't care if the knees can stay bent, but pull this up. Pull this up. Have this cascading effect. Lengthen your spine. Yeah, that's it. You're really lopsided, Chaya. Lift up that left top of your thigh, left top of your hip. Lift up. Don't hold your head up. Okay. All right, now come up. So those of you who do not practice handstand, if you practice handstand, you're going up with your two favorite hand positions. Those of you who don't practice, just watch here. What are these? You'll come to Ardha Halasana at the wall. This is for people who don't practice handstand. If you practice handstand, go up two or three times. Those of you who don't. So I'm in Ardha Halasana. Go back just a little bit. Okay, you'll do the 2 or 3 hand positions. The first one, fingers up. Okay, and to work on loading up your spine, straighten one leg. Lift from the inner leg, reach through the inner leg to the big toe, and then the other side. And then you'll turn the palms out and then down if you are able. Elbows straighten. Look towards the wall, Chaya. If you're going up in handstand, you're just going up 2, 3 times. Lift from the pit of the thigh if you're in your handstand. And then as you're lifting up that leg in half handstand or half Uttanasana, lift from the pit of the thigh, where the thigh meets the pelvis. Yeah, and you can change the hand positions. And Marissa, you're not going up, or you did 2 times. Okay, that's fine. All right. All right, so to come down from the excitedness of having gone up in handstand, sit in Virasana. So if I'm turning, I'll show to turn this way. I put my head on the floor and I put my hands with my fingers in the towards the back of the knee. And not only am I spreading it out to the side, but I'm spreading it back too. And I sit down. Have whatever support you need. I'll turn back this way now. You can sit on a block, sit up on blanket, reach, each one at a time. So I'm reaching my hand and I'm lifting that bottom of the kneecap, head of the shin up. Sit in Virasana. Sensitize yourself to your body, especially lifting up from the lower pelvic rim, front ribs and back ribs. So if you accentuate one and not the other, something suffers, right? So if I just think about lifting the front of the pelvis up, my lumbars are short. If I just think about lifting the back of the pelvis up, my ribs jut out. So can you try both? I put one hand here and one hand here and help to lift it. And then reach the hands forward. Okay, you'll do 3 times each Baranguliasana change. So interlace the palms. I don't care which side, because you're going to go back and forth. So it looks something like this. Up and down, switch the cross, back. Watch those front ribs. Use your breath. Now I'm on the 3rd time and I'm going to stay. 3rd time, stay. Bring the arms back, the ribs back. Sit well down onto those buttock bones. Arms back. Lift the chin away from the chest. Ribs back. Equally lift the front and the back body. And then bring the hands down. Change the cross. This time you'll stay. Press. Go up. First, go back more than you think you need to go back. Then work on the lifting up of the abdomen off the pelvis. Arms back. Open the chest. Move. Feel your, become very sensitive to that thoracic spine. I'm getting you prepared. Thoracic spine, shoulder blades deeper into your back. Trapezium down. It's like the outer shoulder blades come in closer to the spine. All right, and then bring the hands down, and then a quick turning to your right. So your right hand goes towards your the opposite foot, and the left hand crosses in front. So I got a hold of all my toes with the back hand, and I'm turning. Feel some movement in that thoracic area. If you look down, the left side of your chest should not be lower than the right. Lift up. Come back to center, do Urdhva Hasta to get out any unevenness. And now exhale, turn. Grab all your toes, bend that back arm, turn, bend that back elbow and turn. Look down, look at that right side of your chest now. Remember the armpit corners? That has to coil. Armpit corner, coil and turn. All right, and then back to center. Kneel up. Walk your feet and your toes together. Sit down. So my toes are forward. I join my ankles and I'm sitting on those, you know, you sit on your haunches. That's what they call it. Okay, and now Malasana. So you can have height underneath your heels as needed, but come down with those heels. So first I'm just getting used to those buttocks dropping, and my arms are kind of cinching around my knees, and I'm just lengthening the front of the trunk forward. And I still have that tailbone to pubis idea. Tailbone, way here, is coming toward the pubic plate, forward. Okay, and now I'm going to let the knees go wide, and I'm going to reach forward as best I can. Remember, you can have support under your heels, a blanket, a rolled blanket, a rolled sticky mat. Feel the deepening of the groins, right? When our breaths originate from deep in the pelvic diaphragm, we get much more out of our breathing techniques. So I feel this widening here. Okay, then you can rock up off your heels a little bit, move each upper arm into the shin. And now I can put my head down, almost. Heels are either slightly up or they're, still on the blanket, and head down. Now reach and hold on to your heels and use your arms to keep pressing those shins back and bring your head down. Malasana. And one way to work on this, Mike and some others, is, you just go this way, diagonal. You just work on the forward part. So I'm holding onto my sticky mat and I'm just going forward. Buttocks staying down. Groins getting open. So this might be your pose for a while. Hold on to the sticky mat. Keep the groins back and down. The groins very close to the heels. That's better. Good. Okay, and then you rock back onto your buttocks. Stretch the legs out, Dandasana. Strong Dandasana. So in our seated swastikasana, I ask you to really be sensitive to the trunk. So can you feel how that front of the trunk has to lift up, the back body has to lift up to meet it. Press the heel of the hand down, lift up, go back with your head. Oh. So it's a strong Dandasana, thoracic spine moving deeper into your back, head back. Good. All right, now release. So those of you who practice Shirshasana are doing Shirshasana for 2 to 3 minutes. If you do not do Shirshasana, we're going to do Upavishta Konasana and Parshva Upavishta Konasana. Okay. So I've already had my Shirshasana for the day. So I will be the Upavishta while I keep my eyes on the Shirshasana people. How many are doing Shirshasana? Sopo and Marissa and Doug. Okay. Okay, keep the forearm skin on you Shirshasana people, keep that forearm skin plowing forward, and a little bit that action of the index finger pulls back towards you as the bottom of the palm, little finger, reaches away. That's all this stuff we worked on with Abhi in a nutshell on headstand. Okay, I'm gonna start my timer so I know 3 minutes is enough. Here's my 3-minute timer. There we go. Okay. All right, and then you doing, so Kathy, you are listing towards your left. So take the, no, that's, okay, then I'm upside down then. So go the other way. Yes, yeah. Oh. And that's your right. So Sopo, you're listing to your right. Plow that forearm skin forward towards your hands. Pull the index finger towards you, little finger side away. If you guys who are doing the Upavishta Konasana with me, have a bolster or a few blankets. So you can see, I take one leg and pull the hamstring to the hip socket. I spread the thighs inside to out. Same as far as spreading the calf inside to out, but I want that calf to move towards the Achilles. Okay, then I'm going to put this all the way into the abdomen. So the abdomen stays back. Now I start to come forward and I don't change the legs and head down. Feel that hamstring to buttock connection, that outer thigh staying firm back towards the hip, and head down. Those of you who are in Shirshasana, the legs must work. Spin the groins, roll those front thighs in. You could separate the feet to do this. It's often advisable. Separate the feet and you roll the upper thighs in, and it's like you're pulling your sitting bones away from each other. Strongly. Okay, inhale and come up, you guys that are in Upavishta. Take your bolster to the right side, just above the knee there. Turn towards that right side. Okay, so from this lowest left side of your pelvis, you're turning. You're turning the abdomen, you're turning the navel band. Reach with keeping your right hand on the floor, right here near the knee. Reach to the outer foot. So your left hand has caught the right foot. Okay, now I have to go out a little bit with my bolster. Lengthen the spine. Keep the opposite buttock down as much as possible. Then take both hands to the foot and head down. Okay, that's your Shirshasana. People can come down and you can quickly get caught up on taking Upavishta. Take Adho Mukha Virasana just briefly. After your Adho Mukha Virasana, you're in this Upavishta and you're going forward, and then you'll catch up. You'll go to the right. We're going to the left. Turn. This is my stubborn side. So I'm going to use the same hand as leg to help me turn that lower pelvic rim, abdomen, navel band, and catch that outer foot. It's helpful to have the bolster because I'm higher up and I'm able to turn the spine, turn that waist area. Okay, and then hold with both hands and head down. Parshva Upavishta Konasana. All right, and those of you who are in Shirshasana, change sides. And those of you who are in Parshva Konasana on the left, you can inhale and begin to come up. Okay. Bring the knees together. Dandasana. Okay, let's wait for them. You guys, the few of you who did Shirshasana, have you finished your second side on Parshva? Finish that second side. We'll just work on our nice, good. In fact, let's do Urdhva Hasta in Dandasana. Lift up. Can you feel those back ribs moving in? Now you have to match and lift the front of your trunk up. Grow longer, as tall as possible. And now reach forward and grab your toe tips without letting the spine round. Shoulders back and down. Pull yourself forward. Look up. Urdhva Mukha. Urdhva Mukha Dandasana. Your legs should be stable, steady on the floor. And you're lifting, you remember when we were at the wall or you used your door or your heavy piece of furniture, that lower back, it moved this way, up. So that's what you're doing here. You're moving that lower back up. Yeah, good. All right, release from that. You're here. And now Baddha Konasana. So just bring your feet together. I think we're all up on the same page now. Bring your hands behind. Now, if I pick myself up and bring myself closer to my heels, it enables me to drive the head of the femur more firmly into the socket when I press those outer feet in toward each other. Now, I'm going to show you from the side how I want you to take your Baddha Konasana. So I moved in, hands are turning backwards, and I lift up the entire trunk. It's as if I'm doing a back arch, a back bend. So from the pelvic rim, I'm lifting the entire trunk up and head back. Push the feet, particularly the heels, together and head back. Lean back a little bit more, Mike. Let yourself, especially if you're tight, you can lean back a little bit more and do something like this. It should feel good. There shouldn't be any angst over this. All right, and now I'm going to turn around and face you again. And now you'll be putting your hands underneath your feet. You can go like this, or you can go like this, whatever you're comfortable with. I like to do this way, one hand on top of the other hand. Now you get to use, so you're picking up your toes, the ball of your foot. You get to use your forearms, elbows to press down. And now go forward. The abdomen will roll back. It will recede towards the spine. Try to come forward rather than down. Go forward rather than down. If that's not working for you, just think about going forward. Good. Okay, and then inhale and come up. Have your brick for Setu Bandha. So watch, we're gonna do it in stages. This is the first stage. This will be way too easy for you, but I want the extension of the inner leg to match the extension of the outer leg. So the first one is going to be flat, and I don't want the legs to be encumbered by the wall. So I'll go away from the wall. I'll lay down. Get my brick and lift up, and it goes underneath my sacrum. Tuck, I can hold on to the edges of the sticky mat. This is helpful. Tuck and roll. And then simultaneously, as I'm pressing the heels down into my sticky mat and extending the legs. So almost my knees go to the floor. That's okay, but press your thighs more and more. Extend from so the thighs are rolling in, the backs of the thighs are spreading out, the groins are spinning. Tuck the shoulders, press the legs down and out. So you're creating more and more space between the trunk and the legs. So about 5 breaths there. Don't let the legs, be willy-nilly, right? Roll the thighs in, have a lot of extension on the inner thigh to big toe. Like you're pressing, the little toe side has to kind of roll in a little bit. Okay, now bring the feet back until your knees are bent. Turn your block 1 height. So it's just the long second height. Set your sacrum back down. Grab onto the edges of your sticky mat. Tuck and roll. Feet together. Extend. Dig. You're really, really digging the heels into the sticky mat. So if you've lengthened properly, those front ribs shouldn't pop up. If I were to have a drone, and I flew a drone over your body, I would see both kneecaps facing in the same direction, both inner and outer thighs parallel to one another, both inner and outer calves parallel to one another, ankles, feet. Use your breaths to keep working in the pose. Elongate that exhalation and lengthen through the inner legs. Okay, last one. Bring the feet in if you can handle it. If you can't, then you stick with this one. But it's the tall, skinny way. The tall, skinny way. Make sure it's on your sacrum. Most people have it a lot of times they have it much too close to their waist. Hold on to the edges of your sticky mat. You could join your knees. You can have your feet a little bit apart. Go on right here and see what you can do to lengthen both the front body and the back body. Then dig the heels and simultaneously straighten the legs for brick Setu Bandha. Your shoulders might become light, but keep holding on to the sticky mat. Roll the thighs in. Even extension on the inner and outer thigh. If it's too much to straighten the legs, it's okay, but try. And you know what? If you have worked on it a lot of times and it's not coming, what I would advise is one knee stays bent, Doug, and then you pick up the leg you're trying to straighten just a couple inches, just 2-3 inches off the floor, and reach it forward. Even extension inner and outer, and then put it down. Reach. Yeah, it's like there's no end to how long that leg can be. Okay, now I haven't said too much about the chest because I was working on that even extension of the legs. I was working on that opening of the pelvic diaphragm. But you know what has to be done in the chest. The shoulder blades have to move closer into your back. The sternum should move closer to your chin as opposed to your chin moving closer to your sternum. Yeah, nice. Okay, now bend your knees. And now here's your challenge. You're either going to try to grab your ankles and lift up the backs of the thighs where at the buttock crease so much that you literally fly off your block. If you can't, you're just trying to reach your ankles. You don't have to grab your ankles. And so you're high up and off the block, and then you move the block out of the way and slowly come down from the top of the spine to the bottom of the spine. Okay, knock your knees together and just have your feet apart. Knock knees together, feet apart. Okay, now bring your knees together, your feet together. Hold. Oh, I don't think any of you are this way. So you have to turn a little bit. I'll show. Turn sideways, horizontal to your mat like this. Hold on to the edges of your sticky mat. See how I'm tucking and rolling? And now I'm just going to let both knees go to my right. And I'm going to keep that left shoulder down. So it's a little, Jatara Parivartanasana like action. Stay for 5 breaths. If you want, you can bring your right hand off your sticky mat and just hold the top of the left knee. And you can scoot the shoulder blades further to the right so that left shoulder blade comes down. Be quiet in the groins. Don't do anything with your groins. Let them be soft. That's it. All right, and then feet back to center. Choke up on your sticky mat. Tuck the shoulder blades well under. Knees and feet together, feet on the floor. Feet on the floor, and then just take both legs to the left. You don't have to necessarily pick them up. They one will go on top of the other, of course, but the bottom foot can stay on the floor. Go to the left. So your left hand can come and hold on to that top knee, and then you tuck a little bit more to bring both shoulder blades more facing the floor and the chest facing the ceiling. All right. And now inhale, come back to center. And just do a very brief shavasana. Just lay flat. You can turn yourself back sideways if you want to lay on your sticky mat. See what you need, see what you require, but you're doing a very brief shavasana before we're going to do some pranayama. Keep in mind, if one small thing is bothering you, then it can make the rest of the pose not be so good. So, fix it. If something doesn't feel right, like I see Sopo doing, that's fine. It's interesting what we've learned in the Zoom classes. You have to learn to take care of yourself, no matter what the teacher is saying. settle down. And as we did at the beginning of class, become sensitive to your limbs, how your limbs are supposed to be releasing from the trunk. They should actually feel, you know, if you take your arms a little wider than you might normally, you feel this width and wideness, breadth, if you will, across the spine. And then you pick your arms up and you really, really turn in that upper arm. And then you allow the arms to come down. So right away, usually we connect with our thoughts. So can, instead of you connecting immediately with your thoughts and where your brain is, your mind is, can you just connect with your breathing? Okay, I did say brief, right? So you feel where your breath is. Okay, now gently roll, you know, fold your limbs in, roll to the right side, stay there 1 or 2 breaths. And don't just pop up, you know, be slow, be mindful, and come up. All right. So, you know, what's really nice is if you are, I talked to you guys last week about this. If you are a practitioner, you're here for a lot more than just stretching. You should have a stack of blankets that are dedicated to your pranayama practice. So here's mine. I had them folded just ever so slightly yesterday for my pranayama practice, but I have 2 blankets, and you know, as they come off my shelf like this, right? They come off my shelf like this, and I've taken them and they're folded the long ways, and I stair step them. And here's what you need to be careful about. I stair step both of them so that, see, I did it wrong, that they're both on their folded edge. This is the folded edge. This is called, if you're a seamstress, this is the selvage edge. Probably too much information for you guys. So there's my blankets. Now I always have a 3rd blanket for my head. And that one, as they come off the stack, is folded 3 times. Let's say you always take support for your shavasana, for your head and neck. If you do that, you need almost twice as much height in for the pranayama height. So there's mine, folded like that here. Have your blankets a little bit off. Can you see the edge of mine? Yeah, a little bit off the top edge of my sticky mat so that my feet stay on the sticky mat. Okay, so chances are you guys have done this before, and you probably don't need me. You don't need me to show you, right? So you don't need to even look at the screen, because all I'm going to be doing right now is talking. So have a seat right in front of your blankets. On the floor, right in front of your blankets. Stretch your legs out. Your heels should be a few inches inside the edge of your mat. Go ahead and lie down. Okay, and see where your head blanket is. Now adjust your head blanket. So you see what happened there? You just laid down. So now come back up. Okay, now maybe I should show this part. So I just went like, well, I had my knees bent, but I just went like this. Okay, now I want you to do this. Keeping my knees bent, I want you to lengthen your waist, your lumbar. So watch. I lengthen. Can you see how much I'm lengthening? I come down into my elbows. Now, I pick the buttocks up maybe 1 or 2 inches with the help of my hands, lower back towards the buttocks. And I reach, I extend. I don't just lie down, but I extend. I reach the back up the blankets. I have to adjust this one just a little bit. So I'd like for you to get to this part, and you're holding on to the edges of your sticky mat. Let's see if we can, let's watch. So with your legs bent, don't just lie down with your legs straight, because, you know, if you notice, and you can try this on your own, if you do this with your legs straight, you don't have the control over the trunk. So the knees stay bent. Use your hands to stabilize yourself. You've picked up your, you've come to your elbows and you picked up the buttocks and you scoot that flesh forward. Tuck the blanket well in around your sacrum. Imagine this, that you can turn your tailbone more towards your heels. One more time. Move your tailbone closer to your heels. Extend the trunk. You have to extend, particularly through the lumbar spine. Make the lumbar spine long. Be long-waisted as you come down. See where your head lands. It's very lucky if it landed in the right place. Don't, it's really a no-no to lift your head up. You need to use your hands to extend the back of your neck. You don't want your neck muscles working right now. So you reach back with your hands and you adjust and lengthen the back of your neck towards the top of your head. Your chin should be very slightly down. You don't want the head rolling back. Okay, now completely relax at your waist area before you straighten the legs. Feel the quietness in the lumbar spine, abdomen. You've got all these different layers. The spine remains extended. You have to hook your shoulder blades back, down, without shortening or compressing the spine. Okay, you're holding your mat. Your feet are together. Okay, now begin to feel, it's like you're tractioning. You're still holding on to the sticky mat. And you're tractioning the heels going forward against the spine lengthening, the lower back lengthening. Digging your heels, press your heels into the mat as you slide them forwards. Your legs are pressing down. Your kneecaps are firm. Relax and release your waist. Don't push the abdomen. Keep the waist quiet. Maintain that strong action of your legs as you gradually let go of your mat. There shouldn't be any slippage at this point. You have to learn how much to press the legs to stabilize yourself. Now take your arms wider, like almost at shoulder height, but not quite. Roll each shoulder back as you turn your upper arms out and hook the inner edge of the shoulder blade up into the chest as you relax and let go of your lumbar. Now gradually start to release your legs. Let them sink further into the ground. And don't, at the same time, not to let them lift away from the ground. See how you have to use your limbs. Observe that. And then you have to ask yourself, once you've let go in the arms, once you've let go in the legs, is my lumbar happy? Check in with the lumbar. It is one area when we do pranayama that tends to remain active. And another area is the back of the neck. It's usually quite subtle, but you can see that little chin juts just slightly upward. Don't allow that. The front of the throat should still feel long and unrestricted. The walls of the throat quiet. Feel that your body has surrendered. It's been very specifically shaped through this type of entrance for your pranayama practice today. It's not just that you're some amorphous blob there on your floor. You've created a vessel for your breathing. You've crafted a shape that will be conducive to your pranayama practice today. You've made your body an hospitable environment for the breath. You know how when you have company over, or you're having, extended company to stay in your home, you go around the house and you make some changes. You get rid of the dog's bowl, you move this or that. You make some subtle changes. You want your guests to be comfortable. So now you're trying to make your body a welcome and hospitable place for your breath. Make it feel like it's welcoming your breath. Turn your awareness to your breath and to your body. Start with just a kind of open monitoring of the process. Don't focus on any one part in particular. Just be aware of the whole of you. Your anatomical body, the movement of the breath, and the movement of the mind. Body, mind, and breath. That's what we're working on in our yoga practice. We have these different layers of our being. We have a stream of thoughts. We have a stream of breath. And then you have a stream of changes within your body. Allow all of these to be situated in your consciousness. Feel their relationship. How connected are your thoughts to your breathing, to your body? Or do you happen to be in a place where your mind is elsewhere? You're thinking about something completely different. Bring it back to your breath. Where's the breath going and how does it feel today? One of the things I'd like for you to be thinking about this morning is the power of merely seeing, or the power, the skills of observation deep within. This is the power of Purusha. It is the seer seeing. This can be a very powerful way of looking at yourself. Your mind is starting to connect more and more to your breath. Hopefully, the breath is feeling more in harmony with the movements of your body. And then you begin to feel that these rather three separate strands of you are relating to one another. And then you can move your awareness into a more focused awareness. So the observation is becoming more intentional. So now keep on going with that awareness focused on your breath. holding your awareness to your breath. If you find your awareness wanders off, bring it back to the breath. Observe each breath, moment to moment. That word I mentioned during the invocation, shana. Moment to moment, or moment in time. Each, so time consists of a sequence of moments. And in each moment, focus your awareness on your breath. Be there in that moment. Your breath should fill your attention. So when you get this ability to work with that focused awareness, you can begin to see and make changes. You're not just charging in, you've observed, and sometimes that observation causes you to make changes, adjust. Something's not comfortable, fix it. Now begin to slowly even out your inhalations with your exhalations. We're still at this point just in conditioned breathing. I'm not asking you to do a long Ujjayi breath right now. So that on the inhalation, there has to be a steady direction starting to come up into your chest, not a lot. And then a steady direction on the exhalation, descending toward the pelvic diaphragm. You feel in your inhalation that it's ascending, but it's also spreading. It's a breath that spreads across as well as coming up into your chest. Now you can start to take your breath deeper. This is true conditioned breathing. It's the final stage of conditioned breathing. It's not Ujjayi, but it's just deep enough to feel the direction and to feel that the breath is drawing you in. When you, at least in my experience with pranayama, when you make the breath a little deeper, it's easier to hold your attention on the breath. You are preparing. You're deepening your breath to prepare your lungs for pranayama. Feel as though when you take a little bit deeper inhalation, the lungs are also able to absorb that bigger breath. So let's see if we can do a few rounds of Ujjayi 2 this morning. This is the long, active, soft exhalation and a passive inhalation. Your inhalations are going to be shorter than your exhalations. They will be deeper than normal, but that depth is a passive response to your body, to the long, soft exhalation. So we'll start in that formal way where there's a normal inhalation and a passive exhalation. So release your breath on the exhalation and just take a nice deep inhalation to start, nothing too long and drawn out. And then be ready to go. Now maintain that lift of your chest and begin an active exhalation, smooth, long, soft exhalation. My words, that's what's difficult about guiding you through step by step, is my words may not match your breath, but just remember it's Ujjayi 2, which is the emphasis on a long, active, soft exhalation with a passive inhalation. Now, I'd like to think that you guys can link these, one right after the other. And that's how I'm going to guide you. But if it's too much for you, then you take a normal breath in between and then get ready to go again. So you might think of it as a holding on to the breath, not a gripping. You're not just letting the air out of your tires. so to speak. It's not just a passive exhalation. You have to maintain the lift of the chest as you exhale. Feel the breath slowly draining out of your system when you take these slow, long exhalations. The level of the breath descends. When you get to the end of your exhalation, you can just step away, let the body inhale, let it take an inhalation that is satisfying to it, and then step back into it. Long, soft, slow, controlled Ujjayi exhalation. So if you've already started and you're well on your way, just keep going at your own pace. Have a good look at those long, passive exhalations, or sorry, long, active exhalations, passive inhalations. If there's an urgency in those inhalations, like, oh my goodness, I have to get in some air into my chest, then you should take some normal breaths in between. Over the next few cycles, you can let your exhalation become a little deeper. You can start to take it down. You're subjectively exhaling down into your abdomen. And then just as there's a silence at the end of your ohms, you need that silence at the end of your exhalation. It's not really a pause. It's just a moment in time, momentary silence after your exhalation. Take a normal inhalation, a normal exhalation, then a slightly longer, excuse me, inhalation. Keep that lift of your chest. And then slowly start to release from the diaphragm. You feel the abdomen withdrawing towards the spine. The movement is down low. The abdomen is withdrawing. But it feels as though it's dropping down the top surface of the breath. It's slowly dropping down towards the chest. At some point in all this, your chest begins to move as well. Your ribs drop, your sternum drops. It doesn't fall into the chest though. The shoulder blades don't move up the back. That area has to remain soft. So when the exhalation terminates, it slowly comes to an end with that feeling of the chest remaining open. All right, I'm going to be quiet and let you take 1 more minute to do it on your own. Okay, after your next Ujjayi exhalation, inhale is needed. And then let your breath find its normal pace. Step away and just observe. Observe your mind. Observe your breath, observe your body. How is that connection? Not trying to do anything with your breath other than observe it. How is your breath doing? Has it been changed by your Ujjayi 2 practice? Your very own state of mind becomes an object of observation. Your mind is in the objective world, right? It relates to the world. It's something we can look at. So look at the state of your mind. You can make a comparison. It's good to make a comparison study. How the state of your mind has been changed through this practice. Wow. Okay, slowly allow your eyes to open. Not to focus on anything, but just the eyes to open. Bring the hands in towards the torso. Slowly, slowly bend the knees. Wait there 1 or 2 breaths and roll to your right side. Stay on your right side 1 or 2 breaths. And then slowly come up and sit up. So I really wanted to do Brahmari, but I'm afraid to take that much time to do it. Sorry if we went a little longer. But just sitting up in this position, just take a moment or two of even just hands down on your thighs and just observe the state of your mind. You know how when you're in a stressful situation and somebody might tell you, just breathe, or, you know, just take a long exhalation. So that was my intent of learning those long, controlled, soft, slow, deliberately slowed down exhalations today. So my plan was to go into Brahmari seated. So if you have some time and you know it, I love Brahmari in the morning. It kind of just, there's something about Brahmari that connects me better for some reason. So when you've done it, you'll know, but maybe next month we can work on that. Or who knows, maybe Jonathan will offer just a pranayama class. Somebody will come forward and want to teach just a pranayama class. Would any of you be interested in that? It's just pranayama. Yeah, you have to be ready in your mind, in your state of consciousness. You have to be receptive toward that. But I practice. I attend a class that's just pranayama, and it's on Sunday mornings. And then I do it at least 1 or 2 other times on my own for, you know, about an hour. So anybody have any questions? Oh, bring your hands to your heart. Honor your practice. Honor all the teachers who've come before us that give us this practice. And as